are you working on something that didn't work, or are you working on a different target?
Um, I got a reduction from a 7 to a 3 in memory 2, and a reduction from of 1 from 3 to 2 in target 1. So I don't know how to determine if that worked.
A reduction from a 3 to a 2 in target 1, and from a 7 to a
Three.
3. Um,
Well, for one thing, I mean, it's the assumption is that if we did it longer, it would go down further. So to say it went from 7 to 3, I certainly wouldn't characterize that as not working. We don't expect it to go to 0 in that brief demonstration, in that brief practicum.
Oh, sorry.
no, no, don't be sorry about anything.
I'm wondering about the other one.
The one that went from 3 to 2.
Yeah.
So the one that went to 3 to 2, when did that happen?
It was not a couple weeks ago. It was like two or 3 months ago.
2 or 3 months ago. And did you find a feeder memory for it?
Yes.
And when was the feeder memory?
Oh, probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6.
4 or 5 years ago. And the feeder memory was as strong as the original one?
Stronger.
Was stronger. So the feeder memory was how strong?
It started at a 7.
Oh.
Started at a 7. And so that it was then the feeder memory went from a 7 to a 2?
To a 3, yes.
To a 3? Well, that was good.
Okay.
And
which target are we talking about here? Because one went from a 3 to a 2. I assume that's the one that was a 7 earlier as a feeder memory and went to a 2.
The first target went from a 3 to a 2, and the feeder went from a 7 to a 3. That's.
But when you say 2 targets, then you mean the feeder.
no, I don't think so.
The feeder went from a 7 to a 3.
So did you have 2 separate targets, or did you have one recent target and a feeder memory?
I had a recent target and a feeder.
And those were your 2 targets?
Yes.
Okay.
We should clarify our instructions about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't think of that as 2 separate targets. We think of that as one target, the feeder memory.
So that the recent memory goes to the feeder memory. That's all part of processing one target. And
okay.
Okay. Okay, and you. Okay, and so. And the feeder memory happened 6 years ago. And was the feeder memory surprising? Were you surprised at the feeder memory when that happened?
Yes. Yes.
You were surprised. Good. And can you say, without any details, what sort of thing this was? Like an accident or an assault or
yes. Workplace might be inappropriate level of bullying
Bullying.
from a superior.
Yeah, I think any level of bullying is appropriate. But so was being bullied familiar to you at all?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you think of the workplace bullying now, is that at a 3 now when you think of it?
It's maybe a 3, maybe a 3 to a 4. I mean,
3
I
or 4.
thematically notice it distinctly.
And if you focus on the sensations, what do you feel? And what sensations do you notice?
Pit of stomach, tightness and pit of stomach, almost warm.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So if you focus on the warmth and the pit of stomach feeling, and just let your mind float back to an early experience, what pops up?
Something with the same sensations.
Oh,
That
found
one?
another feeder. I found probably the actual feeder.
Mm. And that was
Yes,
from how old?
high school, early high school,
Uh-huh.
uh, 13, 14.
Uh-huh. And how disturbing is that to think about?
That's about a 6 or a 7, probably a 7. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And does it have that same feeling, the warmth and the pit of the stomach feeling?
It has that. Additionally, it goes up just a little bit towards my rib cage. It's not a tightening in the chest, so it's still in the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's counts.
But does it feel essentially the same, just a little more intense?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And when you think of that memory, was that a surprise to you, or was there something familiar about that from something early?
In particular, the way you reacted to the person, was that surprising? Wait, oh, the nod, was it when you nodded, did that mean yes?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I thought I said it out loud.
Oh,
I have a soft voice.
Uh, that was surprising.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to pin you so I can keep you on the screen. Good, because I couldn't see you so well in little. So, do you have a positive, engaging focus?
Yes.
And can you tell me about it?
I live next to a park, and
Uh-huh.
a good friend came over with her kiddos, and
Uh-huh.
the kiddos were playing in the water feature
Uh-huh.
park.
Okay. So what was the water feature?
A series of flat rocks, kind
Uh-huh.
of layered
Uh-huh.
and textured, and the kids loved them.
Flash. Uh-huh.
that was a good blink.
I remember the little girl, about 7, went out onto the rock and looked very confident and happy to be standing like in the middle of this water feature.
Flash. Like, they have all these girl heroines in Disney movies these days. They're not just the Sleeping Beauty anymore. They're out there. They're
Yes.
out there brave and confident. Flash.
She's a go-getter.
Pardon?
She's a go-getter.
She is. Yeah. Yeah. Flash. And it was nice to watch her, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Flash. And do you know her?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's my best friend's daughter.
Oh, yeah. And did the two of you, did you and that child have a relationship?
Yes.
Uh,
She actually has my middle name as her first name.
wow. Flash. Is that touching for you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a break and just check lightly into the target memory. Just skate over it and notice if it's different in any way.
The feeling in the pit of the stomach is less pronounced.
Okay, back to, and what's this little girl's name?
Dorothy.
Dorothy. And do you ever do stuff with Dorothy?
Yes. Dorothy likes to play a game with me called Dance, Dance, Freeze.
Flash. Dance, Dance, Freeze.
Yes. And I play music, and when I stop, it's like musical chairs, but when I play music, everyone freezes. Dorothy and her
When you
brother.
stop it.
When you stop the music.
When I stop the music, yes.
Uh-huh. And they're supposed to, and is there, if do you sort of lose if you don't freeze adequately, or is it really just the fun of stopping?
It's just the fun of stopping.
Uh-huh. It's not a competitive game.
No.
It's just you end up stopping in some funny position.
Yeah. And sometimes we take turns with dancing and freezing.
Flash.
Oh, she likes to she likes to control things sometimes herself. Huh?
As does the brother, who's also lovely.
Everybody likes to
Flash.
have their hand on the lever there. Flash. And does she like to stop you in some funny position?
Oh yes. Yes. She's quite a theatrical gift, I think.
Flash. How old is she?
She is now 7.
Wow, nice age, huh?
Yes.
Flash. Hey, let's take a break and check in again to the memory, and don't get involved in the details, but just see if it seems different in any way now.
It does seem different.
What's the difference?
It has dropped lower in my body, and it feels more dull and even less pronounced.
Good. Let's go back to, did I ask you her name and I forgot already?
Dorothy.
I asked you.
Dorothy.
Yeah.
Dorothy. So, what else do you and Dorothy
We
do?
assume you're not calling from Kansas.
Flash.
You owe me a nickel. Dorothy, I've been to the beach. Dorothy and her brother and mom, and they like to go too close to the water,
Flash.
and I like to help them
Go
out.
too close to the water? What's that?
Getting like near the cold water here in Washington State.
It's the ocean, or
Yes.
uh-huh.
Yes.
So they go in the water and get cold and come back, or
No, we play how to avoid that and running away from the waves. Make that
yeah,
I
yeah.
see. Just letting the waves chase you going up to the waves and then running back from them.
Yes.
Flash, yeah, yeah, that's great. The Pacific Ocean is amazing. Flash, but not so great for swimming.
No, no. There are surfers, but they wear wetsuits.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do. Flash. And so does your namesake have a special relationship with you, do you think?
I think something about the Wizard of Oz. I
Flash.
owe myself a nickel.
Flash. Okay, let's take another break and check into the memory now. And does it seem like it's changed in any way?
Yes. It's reduced. Do you want me to number it?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think it's a 1 tops.
A one tops.
Yes.
And what makes it as much as a one?
Um,
It's sort of hard. It's hard to tell if it's a one at all. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, it's like
Okay,
a
let's do one
0.5.
more. Let's do one more set anyway.
Okay.
So, have you ever read The Wizard of Oz to Dorothy?
I haven't, but I love that idea.
Flash. Although L. Frank Baum is no longer politically correct, you'll probably have to get the
Oh,
the proper version of it. Flash. There were some stereotypes in that book. Flash. Yeah, or yeah. that would
Dorothy
be-
likes to play dolls with me too.
Oh, she does.
Yes.
Flash. So when she plays dolls, does she play like with babies or tea parties or Barbie?
Like mermaids.
What?
Like
Mermaids.
Mermaids. A
Hey,
little
we got to
Yes.
get with the times, Louis.
Flash. Yeah, the times with mermaids are about 40 years ago. that was too late for us. Flash. Yeah, there's a new black Ariel, and it's created a great pain for some people. That's not the mermaid we used to know. Flash. That's the latest Disney movie has a African American sort of mermaid. Flash. Let's take a break and check into the memory again and see if it's changed at all or is it disturbing at all.
I can't even really see it or remember it. I think
Yeah.
it's 0.
Yeah. And now when you go back to the memory that you started with,
That was a 3 and went to a 2.
Yeah.
yeah. How disturbing is that one now?
Zero.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That was a wonderful demonstration, and it kind of illustrated that there's times you have a good float, you float back to a good memory, but it's not early enough, and
Mhm.
and I think that using the example that Phil gave earlier of developmental stages, it could be, but it's often not the case that the first time you ever get bullied is in high school. Usually there's some bullying that goes on either at home or in grade school. So that's what made me sort of think, well, let's just check and go back a little farther. And then when that resolves, you get the resolution of the current one too. So thanks. That was a great.
Well, thank you.